Welcome back, everyone, to another episode on the adventures of FoxFoil. We are back in this world after being away for more time than I can remember, and it is good to be back. There are a lot of projects that I am super excited about getting started with as I've been busy planning some ideas that I want to do over by where the mob farm is. Maybe we should come up with a different name so that I'm not always referring to it as the place where the mob farm is. But coming up with a name sounds like a lot of work, and right now we need to figure out what is going on in this world and then talk about the projects that we are going to be doing today. While I get that figured out, I think the best thing to do will be to get my tools repaired, and with everything repaired, we are ready to go with this episode. I think what we are going to be doing is working over here by where we have our farms. So we've got the mob farm over here, we've got our cactus farm, we have the wool farm, and then we have our bamboo farm along with our furnace in here. And there are three main projects that I want to work on in today's episode. The first project that we're going to do is fix our wool farm so that we have a proper storage room for all of the wool. Then we're going to work at the cactus farm to get the interior finished up. And then the last thing that we are going to do is finish up the area around the mob farm. And this area around the mob farm is probably going to be the largest project that we are going to work on today, because we need to extend this circle all the way around to this back half of it, which was never finished up. And then we have to do a bunch of terraforming so that it doesn't stand out as sort of this block on top of the water. But first things first, let's get that storage room fixed up in the wool farm. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have as far as redstone goes. Let's see, we don't have much in the way of hoppers, so we're going to need to craft some up. Fortunately, we have a bunch of iron here. That'll be a good start. Let's go ahead and take a stack of those, and we will craft up a bunch of hoppers. And that should just about do it, I think. Hopefully. Fingers are very much crossed. For the wool farm, we have two areas where the wool comes up. Over here, we've got mostly the blues, yellows, reds. If we go over here, you can see we've got purples, pinks, grays, blacks, and whites. And we need to figure out a way in order to have these each come up and then run into a bunch of hoppers to be able to sort out into the individual colors. I've been trying to figure out how to get these arranged so that there's plenty of room for all of the chests and hoppers, and I don't think that there's going to be enough room. I really don't think that stacking it's going to work, because otherwise these chests could go all the way up. I'm wondering whether or not it would be worth having the items sorter, or if I should just manually sort out the wool. If we don't have the item sorter, I would be able to just make do with these 16 chests right here. That's kind of tempting. I mean, sure, it'd be nice to have an auto sorter, but at the risk of filling this entire place with hoppers and redstone, I think just having the chest will be fine. Here's what I'm thinking that we will do. Instead of having an item sorter, we will keep the same division that we have with these blocks coming up and over, and then we'll just increase the amount of storage that we have for each side. And then I can just go through and sort out the individual colors into these chests over here. I've gone ahead and made the bubble column go all the way up and over, so that way we can get the wool going in, and you can see it's going to be collected in this chest down here. Now, I did get a little bit carried away and went ahead and built up this central room, which I think turned out really well. It's a nice area to come in. We can see here, this is where the wool is. Over on this side, we have the individual storage for all of the different types of wool, and I think this will be really useful to have going forward. That's the first project down. Now it's time to head over to the cactus farm for our second project. Once again, for this one, we need to do some work on the interior, because right now, all of the cacti that drop down end up in a chest that's all the way down at that level, and I think it'd be easier if the chest were up here. We are down at the base of the farm, and what we need to do is take this hopper line, run it into a dispenser so that the cacti will go into a bubble column and take it up to the top where the chest will be able to collect all of the items. So the first thing that we need to do is clear out this space so that we can have a little bit of room to work with. The next thing that we need to do is fill in the area where the water is going to go to send all of the items up to the top. Now that we know where the bubble column is going to go, we need to be able to place the dispenser, and we want the dispenser to be underneath this block, so we'll place it right. We don't want that to be facing down. That would defeat the whole purpose. There we are. So it's going to go right into where the water is. We're going to place some soul sand down here eventually. But what we need to do first is have a way for the dispenser to be triggered when the items come in. And in order for that to happen, what we're going to do is place a comparator going into a block. We're going to place redstone dust on top of that. We're going to put a redstone dust there. We're going to take a repeater and place it into here, and then do a redstone dust there. And then we just have to place a block here, here, and here. Then if we wanted to test it, we can see what will happen if we put any items into here. So once they go in, the dispenser will be triggered and they will pop out here. But with everything in place, you can see that the cacti are getting dispensed as they come in, and if we don't get the water in, those items are going to be lost. We've got everything set up, and the cactus are now coming into the hoppers and getting into the chest. So we've got a few here. We might be able to see one in just a moment because they've been coming through pretty quickly. Come on, you can do it. Well, or not. Oh, there we go. There's one. And there's another one. The last thing that we need to do before we can finish up here is get this interior all fixed up. I think what we'll do is we'll take some of these black stone bricks and place them across the top here. Then we'll take some of this cyan glass and fill it in on the top. What I also want to do is add some light so that it's easier to see what's going on in the farm when we are at the very top. So we're going to add these redstone lamps in, and that should give us plenty of light to be able to see by. With the lights on, you can really see the cactus farm now, and I like how this looks. It's just so crazy looking down there. I've been going through adding in dark oak to this room, and I think it's been a great addition. This piston door adds a little bit of a problem because if we try to make this corner like what I did in the other corners, it sticks out. I'm gonna think of something here. After doing some thinking, this is what I came up with. So it's a little bit more than what we have in the other corners as far as the dark oak, but I use these trap doors to cover up the bit of redstone that sticks out. And the only thing that does is when this door opens, the trap doors open as well. Excuse me. This is an employees only area. The next thing that I need to do is get a way to come down here because I don't want to have to come down the scaffolding every time I need to get some cacti. So I will put in some stairs here, I think, and that should be enough room just to get down. I've finished the interior and let's go take a look at it. So if we come in, you can see that the floor is all done. I've cleaned up everything. And I really liked the ceiling and the geometric pattern that was created on the outside. So I kept that on the interior. And then if we come down here, you can see there's just this simple little room where we can find our cactus. So that's going to be much easier to get to from now on. And we can take a look at the farm whenever we come in here. With the first two projects completed, the last one that we need to do is going to be fixing up the area around our mob farm and turning it into a park. So that is going to be a massive project, and I think that a time lapse will be the best way to show it. So let's go ahead and get started. took forever, and probably even a little bit longer than that, because there were so many blocks that needed to be placed, and that didn't even count what I did to get this interior spot decorated. The terraforming that I did used a little over 70,000 blocks, and I'm glad that we have it all finished up. The build that I am very excited to have completed are these archways that lead into where the mob farm is, and this design is something that I came up with quite a while ago, probably actually even before the wolf farm or any of these little towers, and it just took me a while to actually get around to building it. I have one more thing that I wanted to do, and I wanted to wait until we finish getting it all built to get it added in, and that is to add sniffers, and I have 4 sniffer eggs that we can put into this area, which is why I built this spot over here as sort of a little nest area that we can have in each of the corners for the 4 sniffers. So we're going to place 1 egg down, and it's probably going to take a while for it to hatch, so let's go get the other eggs placed. Well, that took all of about 5 seconds, and because I placed these on moss blocks, it's going to take them about 10 minutes to hatch. Now, while I have to wait the 10 minutes, you are going to be able to skip right ahead to when they start to hatch. There it is! Wow! I was not expecting it to happen quite so quickly, but there it is. And to think that this is just the little one. I mean, they must get huge when they grow up. All right, let's go check and see if the other ones are all hatched. Number 2 over here is doing very well. We've got the 3rd one all hatched up. Number 4 hasn't hatched yet. Let's see. Oh, there we are. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode. It's been a lot of fun working on these projects and getting a lot done over in this area that I've been thinking about, but haven't quite had the chance to get to. And now that it's done, we can start thinking about some future projects that we can do, which will be some more farms as well as some other things. And I'm super excited to finally be getting back to them. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, see you later.